Yo, what's up guys, I'm Veer and I'm an SSL player in Rocket League, and today we're going to be ranking every kickoff in Rocket League from S tier, as in the best ones that you should definitely be doing, to D tier, as in the ones you should stay the hell away from. So, without any further ado, let's get this started. Alright, so first up we have the speed flip. Now I think I can confidently say, along with every Rocket League player, that this is probably right up there in either S or A. I think it's definitely probably the most consistent kickoff, and it's probably used by the most amount of players around Diamond and above. Yeah, the only reason I never really consider putting this in A is because people are starting to counter it and learning how to beat it, but even then it's still reliable and super strong, so I feel like we have to give it an S. I'd hate myself if I put it any lower, and the Rocket League gods probably make me lose my next 100 kickoffs if I put it in A, so let's just go ahead and throw that bad boy in S. What's next? The headbutt. Okay. What's this one? I think this is just the good old front flip. The one and done, and the pray to sweet Jesus that you somehow win it. Yeah, this is definitely going to be on the lower ranks. But you know, I've used it myself, and I've seen it being used a lot by higher ranks. But even then, it's kind of more of like a, delayed kickoff, which can counter a speed flip, but it's not reliable, and it doesn't work that often. So, it's good against players that are lower ranked. It's definitely probably down there. I'm kind of tempted to give it a D, to be honest. So, all of you front flippers out there, you're gonna have to suck this one up pretty bad. See, now we have some balance. One in S and one in D, just as it should be.
Alrighty then.
Moving swiftly on, we have the post kickoff wave dash. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is kind of a new one, and it's kind of become very popular in ones. With I think Jack and Ioris have started using it recently, and it kind of essentially involves jumping once before you hit the ball, and then wave dashing back after you've done the kickoff to recover quickly and then be faster than your opponent, either get the boost or quickly score afterwards. It's definitely hard to execute, so I would say that it's easy to have it backfire and go back in your net, but it's definitely up there with the speed flip in terms of mechanical skill and how well it actually wins you the kickoff when you do it properly. I'm personally seeing it more and more in SSL, and it is very effective, and I'm using it myself. So I'm kind of leaning towards putting it in S, and I think it's definitely worth learning if you're, in the upper echelon of players. Yeah, let's put it in S. It's definitely one of the best kickoffs in Rocket League right now, anyway. So I think we throw it up there. Alright, now the corner fake. This is one of my personal favourites, and I've used this a lot in ones. I use it in twos sometimes as well, but let me tell you, it tilts my teammates to no end because they have no idea what I'm doing, and they normally go for the kickoff and then get lost. So this one's very easy to do. It's just a simple half flip when you're on the corner, and you go back, grab boost, and then you make a solo play by yourself, taking up into the air, or pass your teammate if you're feeling generous. However, sometimes the enemies do see you, and that's when it backfires. They see that you're backflip and you're not actually going for kickoff, and sometimes they will shoot and it's unsavable, but most of the time you can get back and save it. I like this one because it's versatile in ones, twos and threes, and however, since it does backfire, I think it's definitely not S tier. I'm leaning towards A on this one. I think it's easy to execute, and if you're not using it, I'd definitely add it to your repertoire. Let's throw it in A. Next up is the Spanish kickoff. If you're like me, you hate this kickoff with a burning passion, and you would love to see it removed from the game completely. This is by far the most tilting goddamn kickoff in Rocket League. And if you don't know what it is, I'm not going to tell you, and don't look it up, because the less people that use this, the better my life is. Nah, but for real, this kickoff is really strong. Second guy fakes, first guy goes around the ball and demos the goalie, and it's literally a free goal and it works well, so it's definitely one of those ones that catches your opponent off guard when you use it. I can't tell you how many games I've actually lost in overtime to this kickoff alone. I'm kind of tempted to make a whole new category called L for this kickoff, but it is effective and I appreciate how good it can be, so let's just throw it in A. Alright, we've got a special one up next, and that's Dark's fake kickoff. Oh, this is definitely a very new one. For those of you who don't know, Dark's a very crazy new mechanical player who's gotten into the Rocket League scene recently. He's kind of changing the mechanical game at the moment, and he's even started inventing his own kickoffs. So yeah, I have a very good feeling that he's probably going to be the next scrub killer, and he's got very crazy moves. Anyway, this kickoff is kind of like a regular fake, but you sell it much better to your opponent because you actually do a flip towards the ball, but cancel it and then come back and actually go get boost, or save it and then get boost. It's definitely much better than a regular fake. It does require a lot of mechanical skill though, because, you know, you have to recover quickly, and you can also overshoot the kickoff fake by diving too far with your front flip. I'm leaning towards A for this one. I've not seen enough of it to know how good it actually is going to be in the long term, but as of right now, it's definitely worth keeping your eye on and also learning how to do. So let's put it in A for its uniqueness and special attributes. Alright, the good old side flip kickoffs next. This one's basic, but it's sweet. I remember using this a lot when I was grinding up in the early days of Rocket League up to, I think I used it all the way up to GC actually, without much of an issue, so definitely holds a lot of memory for me. I'm like a Rocket League granddad these days. I don't even know how I'm keeping up with the zoomers at this point, I'm going to be honest. But for real, even though it's outdated, the side flip is a great kickoff to learn, and if you learn how to do it perfectly, I say you're probably going to get a pretty steady climb going in terms of kickoffs anyway. It's pretty reliable, definitely over 50% success rate, and I think even it will probably work against champs and GCs these days. The only problem with it is that sometimes when you go up against a speed flip, it's just pretty bad because you're too slow and they just beat you to it and then push it past you. But, you know, it's definitely up there. I think since I have a personal bond with this kickoff, even though it's a little countered and maybe a little bit outdated, I think B would probably be a nice place for it. Call B its home. The wave dash kickoff. Not to be confused with the post wave dash kickoff. Let's not confuse them. This one's very nice and simple. Quick little wave dash on the way to the ball and then a nice strong flip into it. And then you've got yourself a good old wave dash kickoff. This one's very outdated. A couple people still use it. I see pros using it sometimes as like a, I don't know, like a situational kickoff, but I don't know. I'm definitely gonna put this one down low. I'd say probably, I think a C, probably a fitting place for this one. This next one is a 2s or 3s kickoff. The back left, back right. It's very good for team play, but it requires a lot of mechanical skill from all of the players involved because the one on the kickoff has to 50 in a way that actually puts the ball in the back left or right corner. And then the second man normally has to make like a big play, you know, like a 1v2 kind of play with full boost. Definitely a nice one for 2s when you're switching it up, and it isn't easily countered, but sometimes it really can leave your net wide open if you don't do it correctly. I used to use this a lot, but I found myself using it less and less the longer that I've played Rocket League, as it doesn't really work too well against the speed flip. So yeah, I think we just put this one down in C, to be honest. It's still viable, but it's not the best. The good old diagonal flip. I literally cannot do this one anymore because my brain has been programmed to cancel the diagonal flip to do a speed flip instead. I really don't see this kickoff anymore as it's just like a step down from the speed flip, you know? It's just, there's no reason to use it anymore. You're always better off going for a speed flip instead of a regular diagonal. It's slow, it's cumbersome, it's difficult to manage your boost with. It's definitely D tier without a shadow of a doubt, so let's just get this one over with.
Nice.
What the hell is a backwards musty kickoff? Hold on a second, I need to boot up Rocket League and give this a go. Yep, never doing that again. That's a big fat D from me. Alright, there we have it. Kickoffs arranged from best to worst. I'd recommend learning S and A's. B's and C's are good for versatility. But yeah, let me know if you agree. If not, what you'd change. And yeah, take it easy guys. Enjoy yourselves. I wish you the best of luck. Peace.